Your overall calm, a guided meditation. This meditation will be completed in 5 parts. Due to the length of this meditation session, I recommend that it be done while sitting or lying down. Whichever position you choose, ensure that you are comfortable, relaxed, at ease, and will not be disturbed. Part 1. Reflection on Interconnectedness. To begin, allow yourself to look back over your life and think about the many people who are involved in your choice to cultivate a meditation practice. Maybe they gave you a book to read, or read you a poem, played you a piece of music, or simply talked with you about their own personal journey towards cultivating a meditation practice. Allow yourself to sense their presence in this moment. Feel their energy in the space that surrounds you. Now, consider including those who have really hurt you, not just those who you have found to be a little annoying or irritating, but who really and truly hurt you to the core. After all, they too have contributed to your life journey and have helped teach you some life lessons that helped you grow. Maybe you had a teacher who instilled a love for learning and a willingness to be adventurous. Maybe you had a parent who instilled confidence in your abilities to try new things or explore new terrains. Maybe you had a child who has opened you up to a sense of wonder and interest. Allow yourself to picture these individuals in your mind and let their energy be with you in this moment. Now, think about the clothing that you're wearing. How many individuals and/or beings were involved in growing the fibers, the creations of the cloth, transporting, and selling it? Bring to mind the structure that you are currently in, or the individuals who maintain the land that you are laying on if you are outside. Bring to mind all the forms of life involved in the food that you've eaten today. The creatures of the earth that planted the seeds and nurtured the crops, who participated in the harvest, transported the food, prepared the food. As you can see, none of us is independent, alone, or cut off. No matter how alone you may feel at any given moment, just remember that you are a part of a group. These individuals and creatures are all a part of a greater fabric of life. We are all strands in an intricate web of relationships, connections, and influences. If we look at a tree, we can see it as just the tree. Or we can look at a tree and sense the soil and everything that affects the quality of the soil, which is nourishing the tree. The rainfall, everything affecting the quality of the rainfall. The sunlight and the moonlight, the quality of the air we breathe. Is the tree just the tree, or the confluence of all these conditions coming together, moving and changing? Changing similarly in the same ways that we change. Allow yourself to meditate and focus on the good. Despite knowing that it is human nature to constantly remember every detail about the things that we've done wrong and the mistakes that we've made, the things that we regret, we can consciously shift our attention to include the good within ourselves, and so too when we look at others. This is not an exercise meant to deny that wrongdoings and regrets exist, but we cannot and should not always place our focus on the negative, because it will reinforce it, and that negative energy will constantly show up in our lives. If we include even one good thing, then a bridge is built so that where we honestly and directly looking at what is difficult, it is more from a stance of being side by side rather than across from this huge gulf of separation. Take a moment to focus on your breathing and further relax your body, releasing any tension you may feel in this moment. Now, begin to think of one good thing you did yesterday. It does not have to be a grandiose deed. Maybe you smiled at someone. Maybe you listened to them. Maybe you let go of a nagging annoyance of a slow clerk in the store. Maybe you forgave yourself for not saying something correctly. Maybe you were just generous to a stranger. Or maybe you sat down to meditate. It should not be considered arrogance or conceit to bring these things to mind. It is quite nourishing, replenishing to take joy, to take delight in a good deed that lives within us that we can manifest. At any time, be it within yourself or someone else, we cannot think of something good, then there is another reflection that we do, which is simply to recall all of the beings that want to be happy. Everyone wants to be happy. This urge towards happiness is nothing to be apprehensive about. The problem is not the urge. The problem is ignorance, not being able to sense where genuine happiness might be found. So, making the mistakes that might cause so much suffering for ourselves or someone else, that urge towards happiness itself is rightful and appropriate. When we can combine it with wisdom instead of ignorance, it becomes like a homing instinct for mental freedom and can help us cut through many obstacles. We start with ourselves and then with others, seeking out the good. If it is just not going to happen that way, we switch to this other reflection, recalling that all beings want to be happy. Bring to mind a benefactor, someone who's helped you. Allow yourself to focus on their good qualities, any attributes that you can appreciate about them, those aspects, those efforts, acts of kindness. Think of a good friend. Appreciate the good within them. Think of someone you know who's having a difficult time right now. They are ill or hurting. Think of the good within them, the times they've reached out to help others, their own sources of strength. You can see that this person is not just the problem, but something larger. Think of someone you have a little bit of difficulty with, a conflict, any unease. See if you can find some good reflected in things that they have done and choices that they have made. If not, you can switch to that other reflection, remembering that they too, just like each and every one of us, also wants to be happy. They just want to be happy. Everyone wants the same sense of belonging, feeling at home in this body, this mind, this life. Ignorance is a very strong force. We will end this section with a few moments of reflection that all beings want to be happy. May they be happy. You can silently repeat that over and over to yourself. I want to be happy, and others also want to be happy. We all want to be happy. Part 2. Meditation on Compassion. This is a reflection that can be done in any posture, as open or closed. Just ensure you are relaxed. Call to mind a difficult emotion you felt recently: angry, greed, jealousy, or fear. Notice how you feel about those emotions. Are you ashamed of it? Do you dislike yourself for it? Do you feel you should have been able to prevent it from arising? Do you consider yourself in some way bad or wrong for these feelings? Now, see what happens if you translate that sense of bad, wrong, defective, terrible, or painful to recognize that this state of anger, fear, or jealousy is a painful state. It is a state of suffering. See what happens to your relationship to that feeling as you make this translation. Take that emotion and see what it feels like in your body. The anger, the fear, the jealousy, now held with some kindness, some compassion. Observe the various sensations. Maybe it is a tightening in your chest, constriction. Notice the nature of the compassion which was holding it, surrounding it. The pain is there, and the compassion is also there. Notice the effect if that sense of bad and wrong and terrible comes back. Now, imagine someone you know filled with that same emotion: jealousy, fear, anger, or greed. Take notice of what happens as you describe to yourself those states of emotion as bad, wrong, terrible, or horrible. What happens as you respond to them, the states of pain or suffering? You can reflect on the fact that we can't seem to control the arising of these feelings. We did not invite them. We did not wish for them. As conditions come together, they arise, and we see our own greed, jealousy, hatred, and so on. We don't need to be overcome by them, define them, fall into them, or act from them. We are actually not able to prevent them from arising. This is just the nature of things for ourselves and for others. We can't commit ourselves to trying to see them very quickly, to recognize their painful nature, to have compassion for ourselves, and then let them go. We cannot commit ourselves to remembering that when someone else is acting badly, the state that is likely motivating them to greed or hatred, fear or pain, is a painful state, and we can have compassion for them. Even as we may take strong action to try to change the situation, protect ourselves, or take care of someone else, our motive in doing so needs to not be a sense of disgust or aversion, but can be recognition of the pain that they too are in. As we end this section, take a moment to reflect on your ability to have compassion for yourself and for others. Part 3. Meditation on Emotion. Bring up a joyous feeling, perhaps a memory, a plan, an encounter, and feel the emotion within that. Sense the delight, gratitude, wonder, whatever it may be. See where you feel it in your body. What does it feel like? How is it changing? Can you experience it fully in the present moment without leaning forward into the future? Do you need to get more? Can you not let it go away? If you see these kinds of reactions in your mind, settle back. Come back into your body. Feel the different sensations being born of that emotion in this moment. Allow yourself to feel a difficult emotion. Let's say it is anger. In the same way, feel it in your body. The circumstances, the provocation, the plans for revenge, it doesn't really matter. In this portion of the meditation, we will focus on the feeling itself. So apart from the story, what does the anger feel like in your body? Or does it feel like it is a mood? It is not just one thing. It may be moments of sadness, moments of fear, moments of frustration, or moments of helplessness. Just watch them arise and pass away to make up this emotion that we call anger. Take notice that neither the joyful state or the angry state is permanent, fixed, or unchanging. You may find your attention going back into some story. First, I'm going to do this. Then, I'm going to do that. If you can recognize this, allow yourself to let it go. Come back to your direct experience in the present moment. What am I feeling now? What does it feel like? What is happening? What is its nature? And even after you finish the formal session of meditation, see if you can bring some of these skills into your encounters throughout the day. What am I feeling now? What does it feel like? What is its nature? Letting go of thought. In this meditation, you can sit comfortably or lie down. Close your eyes, or if you choose to keep them open, just find a spot in front of you to rest your gaze and let go. Center your attention on the feeling of breathing in and out of your nostrils. Feel the air make your chest rise and fall. Allow yourself to feel the air expand and attract your abdomen. Just the natural, normal breath. As you feel the sensations of your breath, you can make a very quiet mental note of breathing. Each inhale and each exhale. When a thought arises that is strong enough to take your attention away from the breath, simply note that it is not a breath. It is not the breath, and you can recognize it in just that way. It does not matter if the most beautiful thought in the world or the most terrible thought in the world, the one you would never disclose to anyone, it is simply not the breath. You do not have to get lost in the thought or elaborate on it. You recognize that it is not the breath. Very gently let go and bring your attention back to the feeling of breathing. Some of your thoughts may be tender and caring. Some may be very cruel and hurtful. They are not the breath. See them, recognize them, let them go. Bring your attention back to the feeling of the breath. Your thoughts are like clouds moving through the sky. Some are very light and fluffy and very inviting. Some are quite ominous and threatening, but they are not the breath. Allow yourself to let them go. Our habitual tendency is to grab onto a thought, build an entire world around it, or push it away, struggle against it. Here in this moment, we stay even, balanced, and calm. We simply recognize that it is not the breath, and very gently let it go. Bring your attention back one breath at a time. For the next few moments, allow yourself to just simply focus on your breathing. Part 4. Mental Noting. Mental noting is a meditation where we first center our attention on the feeling of the breath, wherever it is most prominent, wherever it is easiest for us. Just the normal, natural act of breathing. And quietly note to yourself, breathe in and out, in and out. Or you may note, rising and falling. You do this in order to help support the awareness of the breath. Then, if something arises that is predominant, that takes over our awareness, sensations, sounds, images, emotion, thinking, see if you can make a quiet mental note of just what that experience is in the moment, without judgment, just an act of recognition. Say to yourself, oh, thinking, planning, anger, joy. If the note comes easily, you do not need to struggle to get exactly the right word. It does not need to be elaborate. It is just an act of recognition. Okay, this is what is happening right now. There is sadness. There is happiness. Hearing, seeing, thinking. Gently note that experience 3 or 4 times. Hearing, hearing, hearing. Seeing if you can bring your attention back to the feeling of the breath. The mental note is very quiet. It first establishes a sphere of awareness, which is not caught up in the experience, but is able to discern it, to recognize it. It also provides an instant feedback system for us. Is this an open-hearted, even acceptance? Oh, this is what is happening right now. Or is it more like thinking with fretfulness or resentment? And we hear that we say this. Oh, thinking. And then bring your attention back to the feeling of the breath. You do not need to try to take in everything. It is just those things that arise quite strongly, that pull us away from the breath. We spend a few moments as though to say, oh yeah, this is what's happening right now. And then we come back. The mental noting is the platform for mindfulness. We see what is happening right now just as it is. We are not elaborating on it. We are not judging it. We are not struggling against it, nor falling into it. Think to yourself, oh, there is thinking, there is anger, there is joy, because it is the platform for mindfulness. It is the platform for learning. we can see just what is happening right now, in this moment. Many things will arise and pass away, some very pleasant, some unpleasant, while others are neutral. But our job is to note them, to recognize them, to see them for what they are, to see the truth of this very moment, and then return back to focusing on our breath. Now, take a moment to breathe, and if you have any thoughts or feelings arising, take note of them, acknowledge them, and then let them be as you return back to focus on your breathing. Part 5. Meditation on Balance. There are different forces that we are cultivating in our meditation practices. There are tranquility and energy, calmness and alertness, relaxation and investigation. In any method of meditation, we work to bring these things together, to bring them balance. So it is said that from the beginning, this is reflected in our posture. If you are sitting, you want to have your back straight without being stiff or tense. Too much energy. You also don't want to be slumped over so that you are nearly bound to fall asleep. You want to be upright, not have too much tranquility, relaxation. So, if you sit straight without being tense, and here too, you can close your eyes or not, and center your attention on the feeling of the normal, natural breath. And notice the play of energy or interest in calmness or relaxation in how you are with the breath. Are you too far back? Don't care really what it feels like? Come forward just a bit. Feel the actual sensations at the nostrils, in the chest, or in the abdomen. Do you have sort of a death grip on the breath? Are you thinking, if I hold on really tight, my mind won't wander? When in fact, it will actually wander more. Maybe you need to relax a little. If you can feel yourself in the place in the middle with tranquility and alertness, you will see how just one breath is tremendously fulfilling. We are not overriding it. We are not shrinking back from it. We are going to come completely face to face with it. Sometimes in my own practice, I use this image of holding something very fragile, very precious, like something made of glass, an egg, or newborn baby in my hands. If I were to grab it too tightly, it would shatter and break. But if I were to get lazy or negligent and my hand would fall open, it would fall to the floor and be harmed. So I just simply cradle it. I am in touch with it. I cherish it. And so too we are with each breath. We don't want to grab it too tight, nor be too loose, too energized, or too relaxed. We meet this moment, we meet this breath, and we cherish it one breath at a time. If you find yourself getting too far back, bored, disinterested, come forward. If you are too far forward, tense, trying too hard, then settle back. Allow the breath to come to you. If you feel you need to adjust the balance, don't worry about it. You need not question yourself. Am I too tight? Am I too loose? But allow your intuition to arise. Then come back to the place in the middle. It is just one breath. If you have too little energy, you will become sleepy, sluggish, and dull. You can sit up a little straighter in this moment. If your eyes have been closed, you can open them. Maybe take a few deep breaths to allow the sensation to be more intense. And then, once again, allow the breath to become more natural. Aim your attention towards just one breath. It is the whole universe, and nothing else matters. If you have too much energy, you will feel restless, agitated, and worried. If this happens, see if you can allow yourself to feel the sensations of one breath as though your hands were in water and you felt the water swirling around, all the different sensations. So too with your mind, your attention. You can feel the sensations. It will soothe you and ground the energy. We have now come to the end of this meditation session. Give yourself a moment to take note of how you are feeling. Make yourself aware of the balance that you have created. Be mindful of your emotions in the present moment. Also give yourself some compassion in this moment. Reflect on the connections that you've made throughout your life. Be mindful of your breathing. Take in the sounds that you are hearing and allow your body to simply relax. When you feel ready, you may open your eyes and take the lessons in which you have learned throughout the session with you into the rest of your day.